Good morning, everyone, and welcome to TipRanks News Bites. I'm Gutman. Today is Wednesday, August 3rd, and here are our top news bites. Stocks are seeing some more volatility as traders are growing weary over rising tensions between the United States and China while digesting economic data. Federal Reserve presidents are delivering hawkish commentary this week regarding interest rates and the deflationary road ahead of us. And in crypto news, a new Senate plan may place Bitcoin under the watch of regulators. Now finally, as for our breaking TipRanks Insider news, $2 million worth of shares were just purchased on behalf of a director from a very prominent banking research firm. You will not want to miss out on this breaking news, so make sure you watch today's segment through and through. Well, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi landed in Taiwan on Tuesday after several ominous warnings from the Chinese, which made for choppier trading throughout the day and ultimately losses across composites. The Dow Jones ended the day 1.2% lower as the S&P followed suit, losing 0.7%, and the Nasdaq not too far behind, losing 0.2%. Pelosi's visit has been viewed as a move that escalates tensions between the United States and China, especially as trade relations have been stifled since Trump's presidency. Now, given the US and China are the world's largest economies, economists and investors recognize the need to proceed very cautiously during a time of economic uncertainty. Now, in regards to economic data, we saw that the labor market did in fact slow down in the number of job openings as of June, with the latest job opening and labor turnover survey showing 10.7 million jobs were available at the start of the summer. As for today's economic data, we should all be watching for the Institute of Supply Management's July report on the Non-Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index, or PMI, which is a monthly survey of supply chain managers across industries covering both upstream and downstream activity. With data now being the primary driver of interest rate decisions, according to the Federal Reserve, you're going to want to make sure that you stay up to date with each and every economic report. You know, Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve have been and remain center stage for economists, those on Wall Street, and the retail investor, as Fed commentary is typically a market mover. Several Federal Reserve presidents were scheduled to comment on Federal Reserve policy this week, and thus far, commentary has been very hawkish. Charles Evans, the Chicago Fed president, spoke yesterday, sharing he hopes that the central bank will raise the benchmark interest rate by another 0.5 percentage point in September, while Mary Daly, San Francisco's Federal Reserve president, remarked, "There is still a lot of work ahead of the central bank in order to actually combat inflation." Now, Loretta Mester, the president of Cleveland Fed, then expressed that there's just not enough evidence on the table to state that inflation has actually peaked. The overall messaging is perhaps not as optimistic as we would like it to be. What remains clear is that we may not be as close to that light at the end of the tunnel. As for our crypto investors out there, several leaders within the Senate are introducing legislation that would place the two largest cryptocurrencies under the watch of federal commodity regulators. The bill is expected to be introduced on the floor of the Senate this afternoon. While the currencies were created to essentially be unregulated, which has largely been the case over the last 13 years, the federal government has been intensifying efforts to actually regulate the currencies in order to minimize both fraud and market manipulation. Now, in addition, the legislation would also have cryptocurrency exchanges like Coinbase and FTX register with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. And either which way here, as the crypto market has been experiencing a ton of volatility lately, the fact that the government continues to work to create regulation for these currencies essentially means that there is in fact legitimacy behind them. Finally, as for our breaking TipRanks Insider news, B. Riley Financial had Randall Paulson, a director, purchase just north of $2 million worth of the company's shares yesterday afternoon, which all led to the stock's 2.69% climb by the end of the day. The financial research firm focused on providing tailored financial solutions to meet clients' needs is down from a year-to-date high of around $84 per share and currently trading for $53 per share, roughly a 36% change. Therefore, Paulson's buy signaled optimism for the company's future, and not to mention, the company is seeing increased hedge fund activity and bullish blogger sentiment. Now, if B. Riley Financial seems like an investment of interest to you or beneficial for your portfolio, just make sure to jump right onto TipRanks to do all your due diligence. TipRankers, that's our news for today. But just before we close out, I want to actually dive right into collecting your thoughts on the current economic conditions. Do you feel the worst is behind us, or is the worst in fact yet to come? Now also, let me know your 2 cents about the crypto legislation. Are you for regulation or against it? Let me know by simply leaving a comment or two down below. Now, as always, be sure to stay up to date and stay connected as well as up to speed by joining us right here on TipRanks TV. All the shows you just cannot afford to miss. Until next time, thank you for tuning in.